Hey everyone, welcome to the reading of all the updates from Chapter 7 in Dee's Journal of Bravely Default. An update to Ring a Bell. The Templar stood calmly in the chambers of the Council of Six, as if awaiting our arrival. He looked back and addressed the Dark Knight, Altinus Dim, scolding his son for staying at his side despite his wishes. He and his daughter recognized Altinus' family. Then, they finished the conversation with blades in hand. Afterwards, he did me the honor of calling me son, too. An update to Adia. The Templar lay in wait for us in the council chamber of the Fourth World. He recognized that Adia had matured, and chided his son the Dark Knight for disobeying orders to stay and protect him. We could scarcely believe our ears, but Adia just laughed and called him fool brother. It was a special moment for me and my counterpart clad in dark armor. An update to Barris. In the Fourth World, while battling the Black Mage Ominous Crow at the ruins of Central Keep, he began to falter. Just then, the monk Barris and the knight Hankel ran to his side. Taking heart at the brute force they provided, Ominous regained his composure. Though the three of them together made it a tough battle, we prevailed, and they withdrew. An update to Holly. In the Fourth World, we saw the White Mage Holly in the city of Eternia for the first time. The Valkyrie Einherja had planned a skirmish to test our mettle, and Holly joined the fray. After the battle, Einherja warned us of a terrible conspiracy. Holly said she would pass the information on to Victor, then left. An update to Ominous. In the Fourth World, the Black Mage Ominous Crow once again lurked in the ruins of Central Keep. He thought us to be intruders, and summoned Bahamut to incinerate us. However, all that appeared was a regular fire dragon with an appetite. It looked a little overfed, to be honest. We defeated them both handily. With Bahamut defeated, Ominous fell to his knees. Just then, Hankel and Barris of the Sky Knights came to his aid. With their encouragement, Ominous returned to the fray, and we fought the three of them together. Protected by a wall of steel and muscle, the Black Mage was free to unleash his brutal magic, but we managed to best them. The trio made a brisk retreat. An update to Hankel. In the Fourth World, the Knight Hankel and the monk Barris came to the aid of the Black Mage Ominous at the ruins of Central Keep. We fought again, with Hankel shielding Ominous so he could cast his powerful magic, while Barris pelted us with blows. This nasty combination made for a tough fight, but we prevailed, and Hankel covered the others as they withdrew. An update to Oriana. In the Fourth World, we visited the sage and asked him to test our ability. Just then, his disciple, the summoner Mephilia, arrived with Barbarossa of the Black Blades to report she had mastered Susanoo. The sage was pleased to see her recovered, and asked them to join the battle. After the fight, the sage mused over the concerns that Mephilia spoke of. An update to Altinus. In the Fourth World, we faced the Templar in the chambers of the Council of Six. He summoned Altinus to his side, scolding him for staying on despite his orders, and calling him son. These words were as water in a drought, as Altinus had always longed for acceptance. Enough had been said, and we took up arms from that point. Then, another master of the blade appeared. An update to Jackal. In the Fourth World, we found the Jackal in the royal palace in Ansheim, after he had taken Praline from the battle at Eisenbridge. According to the Jackal, the king plotted to use the performer's songs to further exploit his people. The king denied this vehemently, but we could not let it go unanswered. We put an end to their conspiracy. An update to Profiteer. In the Fourth World, Chairman Profiteer, the Red Mage De Rosa, and the Salvemaker Kata plotted to overthrow the duchy in the dungeon at Central Command. De Rosa would spread a pathogen crafted by Kata across the duchy and kill key figures, while Profiteer would emerge as a hero by distributing the vaccine for free. We bested them and locked them away, ending their scheme. An update to Kint. In the Fourth World, we were summoned by the Valkyrie Einherja and dragged into a battle with the spellfencer Kint and the White Mage Holly, who happened to be there. Evading their relentless assaults, we came out on top. Einherja then told us of a certain conspiracy, at which point Kint seemed to remember something, and a frown came over his face. An update to Kamer. In the Fourth World, we met King Kamer together with the Jackal and Praline at the palace in Ansheim. The Jackal spoke gleefully of the king's plot to exploit the people through Praline's song, though the king denied this with a flustered look. We defeated them, and both Praline and the Jackal absconded, leaving Kamer sitting on his throne, a shell of a man. An update to Victoria. In the Fourth World, we encountered Victoria, Artemia, and Kikyo in the Florum Gardens. They were holding some kind of meeting, chatting on about girl power or something. They engaged us in battle, and when we defeated them, they hurled abuse at us as they withdrew. They left behind some candy wrappers, a charm bracelet, and banners covered with scrolls. An update to Victor. On the top floor of Vampire Castle in the Fourth World, Victor from the Council of Six appeared behind us. Ignoring our presence, he asked Lord De Rosa for a sample of his body to sustain the life of his patient a bit longer. De Rosa had him fight at his side, and gave him a strand of hair after the battle. Victor agreed to the conditions set by De Rosa, then left the castle. An update to Artemia. In the Fourth World, we happened upon a meeting of 3 duchy women in Florum Gardens. Though none of them would normally be the type to value communication, they seemed attuned to one another, and fought with great coordination. After defeating them, Artemia's parting words were, "They have no girl power." This did not sit well with our female companions. After Artemia left, we found a finely crafted charm bracelet on the ground. This is apparently a very rare item, and Agnus's eyes lit up. Then Edea remembered that Artemia was raised by Frosties as a child. I did not know what to say to that. An update to Mephilia. In the Fourth World, we had visited the sage to have him test our metal when the summoner Mephilia arrived with Captain Barbarossa in tow. She seemed to have regained her equilibrium after a breakdown caused by the death of her loved one and the rigor of her duties. She had apparently mastered Susanoo with the help of her loved one's friend, Barbarossa. Delighted to see his disciple recovering, the sage asked Mephilia and Barbarossa to join him in battle against us. Though Amelia test, the fight was so intense that we feared for our lives. When the battle was over, Mephilia told the sage she had something on her mind and left. The sage watched her go with a conflicted look of hope and worry on his face. An update to Anhyria. In the Fourth World, we were called to the city of Eternia by the Valkyrie Anhyria via a message sent by Arrow. The spellfencer Kint and the white mage Holly also happened to be there, and Anhyria made them join her in the battle to test our abilities. After the fight, she apparently deemed us worthy, and asked us to stop a plot taking place in the duchy. An update to DeRosa. In the Fourth World, DeRosa, Professor, and Kata were hatching a plot in the dungeon beneath Central Command. DeRosa intended to overthrow the duchy through cunning use of a pathogen developed by Kata. We gave them a thrashing and locked them away, leaving the scoundrel's fate in the duchy's hands. An update to Kami Izumi. In the Fourth World, as we battled Brave the Templar and the Dark Knight Ultimus in the Chambers of the Council of Six, Swordmaster Kami Izumi joined the fray. The moment he drew his blade, the menace in the room increased tenfold. His swordplay kept us on the back foot, but after a desperate struggle, we prevailed. Before we knew it, the Swordmaster had disappeared. An update to Barbarossa. As we asked the sage to test our ability in the Fourth World, the sage's disciple Mephilia and Captain Barbarossa came by. It seems the captain had learned the whereabouts of the Susanoo that his late friend had sought, and knowing his friend's loved ones sought it, he offered to lend her a hand. The sage was delighted, and asked him to join the fray to up the challenge. An update to Kata. In the Fourth World, we found Kata planning to overthrow the duchy with DeRosa and Professor in the dungeon beneath Central Command. While he mulled over whether to go down in history as a villain who created the pathogen that threw the duchy into chaos, or a hero that developed the miracle cure, we crushed their evil aspirations and locked them away. An update to Praline. In the Fourth World, Praline went missing from Eisenbridge. Despite confusion between the Jackal and Praline, mixing up the Swordmaster and Sigma Kint, both expert swordsmen, tall and clad in green, they somehow arrived in Ansheim to fulfill Kama's request to ease the people's suffering. The Jackal and Praline's performance left the king in tears. An update to Kikyo. In the Fourth World, we saw the ninja Kikyo at Floam Gardens. She had been invited by Victoria, and Artemia was there too. None of them excelled at communication, but when we encountered them, they performed with admirable unity. A baron left behind after they withdrew had "girl power" scrawled on it in faint writing. An update to Brave. In the Fourth World, we faced off with the Templar in the Chambers of the Council of Six. He called Ultimus his son, and they set upon us together. Their sacred sword and blade of darkness were joined by yet another great blade, and the sound of steel on steel rang out, reverberating echoes of the past and future. After the battle, the Templar gave us a warm sending off. An update to DeRosa. In the Fourth World, Victor appeared just as we were about to battle Lord DeRosa on the top of Vampire Castle. He desired a piece of the immortal DeRosa's body. DeRosa agreed on the condition that Victor fight alongside him. After the battle, DeRosa gave Victor a strand of his hair, asking him to name any life that came from it after his mother, Lilia. A new entry in the Notes section, The Sister's Tale. I heard the strangest thing from Edea, about how Artemia came to be raised by Frosties, how her sisters came to let it happen. Really, each of those three sisters is a piece of work in her own right. Edea was 14 at the time. That makes Anhyria 24, Mephilia 20, and Artemia a scant 13 years old. They met deep in the woods at Eternia's west. One rare day when the Templar was free from work, the family set out for a picnic. After disappearing for a short while, Edea returned to her parents sobbing, face covered in cuts and scratches. Her half-panicked father asked what had happened, but she merely pointed to the woods as she cried. Joined by Dark Knight Altidus Dim, the Templar strode into the forest, face set in fury. There, he found a single beast. No, on closer inspection, a young girl, lying on her back, knocked flat by Edea. Clothed in tatters and growling like an animal, she lacked the strength to stand. More than her injuries, it was hunger that ailed her. The Templar took her in his arms and carried her back to his family. She took to the food he offered like a feral beast, and passed out as soon as her belly was full. They later learned her name was Artemia, the same as Anhyria's youngest sister, gone missing the last year. The Templar and his wife exchanged grave nods. The story jumps back 1 year. Edea had by that point completed 3 years intensive training under Swordmaster Kami Izumi's tutelage, having begun at the age of 11 in accordance with customs. As the leader of a division of the Eternian forces, Kami Izumi was often unable to leave Central Command, leaving his head pupil, Einherja, to run the dojo in his absence. One day, a traveling swordsman drifted through, and Einherja met his challenge. When no victor had emerged by the day's end, each acknowledged the other's skill and found in them a kindred spirit. "I'll be joining him for 3 days' training," she said to Edea the next day. "See, this letter gets to Mephilia." In truth, her journey would span an entire year. Mephilia had been lauded as a genius since childhood. All who witnessed her skill in magic expected her to lead the duchy forward in the years to come. One day, a minor incident erupted at the academy. The students preparing to face their final examination were thoroughly bested by the far younger Mephilia, and in their dejection, all declined to take the test. The panicked professors decided instead to send Mephilia to the Oriana Woods to take the test in their place. "I know it's sudden," read the letter she addressed to Einherja, "but I'll be leaving the country for 3 days. I would appreciate if you would see to Artemia in my absence. She was aboard an airship to Oriana within the hour." Just as expected, Mephilia passed the test in one go. Less expected, however, was her meeting with a certain playboy in a port town on her journey home. She went with him, witnesses claim, and was missing for a full year. It seems she sailed the world with him those months, ultimately returning to Eternia aboard a ship called the Funky Francisca. Left at home, Artemia could only tremble in hunger as she awaited her sister's return. On the 4th night, Eternia saw its first snow of the year, and beyond her window, Artemia saw the smiling faces of Frosties dancing through the air. Lured outside, she, too, would not see home for another year. Instead of her sisters, it was that pack of creatures that would raise her. When the Templar found her, Artemia still bore 2 letters, badly worn but still sealed. One bore Einherja's name, addressed to Mephilia, the other was from Mephilia, destined for Einherja. He opened the letters and read their contents, then took the girl straight to Kami Izumi's dojo. He arrived just after Einherja, finally back from her year's training, who in turn had just witnessed Mephilia's return from a year's wandering, and with a man in tow, the two were locked in a furious argument. In the year that followed, Einherja mastered the spear, and succeeded in scaring off her sister's playboy paramour. Mephilia, for her part, also honed her skills, and Artemia cultivated her already uncanny hunting prowess. At the age of 15, the little ranger would join her sisters in their post to Florin. Quite the family, I must say.